podcast you cheer for. Sneakers, business, talk. It's the Soul Material Podcast.
Yes. Welcome to the Soul Material Podcast, the podcast you cheer for. I'm the OGEO.
All right, and it's T Mark the Street Shark.
And we are here today to drop some more clarity over popularity. But this time we talk about something that's extremely popular because of the cultural significance overall of one of the greatest athletes of all times and one of the most influential people as far as in the culture of apparel and sneakers and sports. We're talking about the man, Bo Jackson. He's just celebrated his 60th birthday. And Tony and I just want to go down memory lane a little bit, talk about what impressed us about him, things about him, shoes, and so forth. But we just want to give honor to one of the GOATs of this culture, Bo Jackson. So, Shark, you want to start it off at any angle you want, man. I'm just ready to just dive in because he's done so much for the culture. From my childhood on, we still look up to Bo.
Yeah, I mean, the man, the myth, the legend. I think that's part of the nostalgia of Bo Jackson, just because of the tall tales. I think that was the last of the era of like you had to be there, and then when you hear the story of what happened or what he did on the football field, on the baseball field, and just how it's like a Paul Bunyan tale. John Henry, he was a steel driving man. So like it's just like, and when he lived up, when you actually got to see him perform, it was just like, oh, these stories didn't do him justice. So whether you were a football fan, you're a baseball fan, or just the purity of just being an elite athlete, is just something to marvel at. And just again, he created that nostalgia, and then when it crossed over into the sneaker world of he kind of introduced the concept of a cross trainer, meaning, like you can do multiple things in a shoe. As a matter of fact, you need to do multiple things in the same shoe. And then the whole, that spawned to the Bo Knows campaign that'll just go down as, more legendary, cementing the legacy into what I call a Hall of Fame status, rather is in anything, because this was even before Deion Sanders in prime time, and Deion, his cross training, derivative was more of a, style and, flash and flair and speed. But Bo was just power, and just like girth, where you just move people in there. You could just launch the ball, on the way that you hit it to the moon, or, 110 mile per hour, just from the outfield to first base, you know what I'm saying, and throw somebody out, and, or snap the bat over his head. Or I think some of the classic moments in my mind is just run the tape of him running the wall. You can have the Willie Mays over the head catch or something like that, but he did all of that and then like did a Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying, and then made it so casual that he was just graceful in his power. You know what I mean? So it just translated to all ages. When he performed. And then again, I think what cemented it for me was the genius advertising, because then you got to see him in so many different forms, right? Because then now it's like some of his personality is coming out of this too, because you can come up with all the campaigns you want to, but he has to have the personality to execute it, right? So when you say Bo Knows, and then it's just like Bo Knows surfing, and then he shows up with the surfboard, you know what I mean? And just that play on making a little bit of fun of himself, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know this, Bo knows this, Bo knows that, Bo don't know diddly, Bo know diddly, so just those things where, as a youngster, it's almost like I didn't know I could do that, and then that representation, and then just the concept of I don't have to be one thing. I can be all of these things at the same time, and it's okay. And it's actually cool to do that. And then don't put shoes on. So
Understood. And then you cross over to hip hop, where God bless his soul, rest in peace to Fife, when the ultimate classic quote unquote diss. Bo don't know Jack because Bo can't rap. And I was honestly, as a child, waiting for Bo to come with some rapping, commercial or something, but he never did that, at least. But going back to what you said, Tony, we lived it. And I rarely say this, but I said this a few times in our previous episodes. What a time to be alive. As you were talking, Shark, I'm thinking about the posters. I'm thinking about all of the, how things were as far as advertising in the stores, and how people would have not only just the posters and advertisements in the stores, but how it was an elegance to the outfits or the sweatpants and jeans and shoes. I'm just seeing all of those mannequins and how they were up at the Foot Locker that looked like, a real locker, and a couple of the mom and pop stores in DC area. And the key thing that you pointed out was, now it's kind of standard, the evolution and introductory of the cross trainer shoe. Because back before this happened in our day, it was, you had a basketball shoe and a running shoe and an aerobic shoe and a wrestling shoe. And this shoe that you can do anything in was like revolutionary, because it's like, yo, I can go on a court and rock these bows, but I could also go in the gym. I can go to the playground, I could sport them and they look good with, shorts and jeans. And that was just a phenomenon within itself. And gosh, man, I'm just thinking of, again, like you said, you got to perform. And boy, did he perform. So he's probably the first athlete I can remember that I said, God given ability. That wasn't something that you can, go in the gym and just train to do and so forth. It was just natural, God given ability.
Yeah, that he was country strong, like all of that stuff, because Bo knows archery if you watch some of those documentaries, because he's a country boy too. So he's that strength that's just given to you, as a gift. And I'd be remiss to not mention part of the legacy was first generation, Nintendo video games, Tecmo Bowl, and then you got Bo Jackson is the most lethal video game player. Like his attributes were unstoppable. You can YouTube some of those videos right now where he could just run around in circles and nobody could tackle him. And again, like everyone wanted to play with the Raiders so that you could run the ball with Bo Jackson. Again, like even the art imitated the life, and so in so many different avenues, you got to touch some of that. And many of you that listen to the podcast know that the Shark over here is a cartoon fan as well. So I sparked some of that nostalgia, and he was a cartoon character too, with the Pro Stars. That was one of my favorite shows. I think it came on NBC at the time, and the Pro Stars was Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, Wayne Gretzky, and they were a superhero team.
Horrible voiceovers, though. Horrible voiceovers.
Yeah, I mean, again, what a time to be alive, and a lot of that, so they had all these gadgets and everything, and then Bo was the utility man. He was kind of the Hulk, I guess, for them, but he was the utility man because he could switch. So you had Wayne Gretzky where he could just skate around or throw some rollerblades on and hit you with an exploding hockey puck or something. Or Michael Jordan could fire some jets on his shoes and, slam dunk somebody, the villain or something. But then Bo, he could run you over, do something, drive the car, come scoop you, you know what I mean? Or, rocket fire, something, one of them little exploding baseballs or something like that. And really, he was the versatility to the squad, you know what I mean? So like, again, all of those things translated, and, you literally, to this day, because the beautiful part about that show, it used to have these cutaways to live action. And then, so it was just like, you really saw Michael Jordan, you really saw Bo Jackson, and I was like, I always wanted one of those Pro Stars, like leather jackets, you know what I'm saying, that they would do. And then had the theme song, with some of their highlights running, you know what I mean? So like, it kept, like, you saw the highlights in other places, but then you see them in that format right there. These things are just ingrained in my memory banks of that good nostalgia, and all the way to the poster on your wall, because that was that era of, that was probably the first baseball player that made it to my wall, just because it was it was the same poster, but he's in the Raiders uniform and then he's in the Royals uniform,
Definitely.
So just it just open your eyes to versatility and everything that's around you. You know what I mean? It made you like appreciate all these attributes just it's a little bit different because you never saw that combination.
Shark, something just came to mind. I wanted to ask you about this to see if you agree, disagree, or a neutron in the middle. I give Bo all the credit in the world for establishing a lane for being an awesome athlete, being an awesome competitor, but because of injuries, career cut short. But because of, you said, the commercials, the advertising, the marketing, still being able to live on past that. Would there be a Penny Hardaway right now, the way that we see Penny Hardaway now? He has not dribbled a basketball in how many years if it wasn't for a Bo Jackson kind of making that lane, particularly at Nike?
I'd just say that it was the the potential, because you saw the short spurts, and then it's like, oh man, then he like blew his hip out, and then that kind of messed it up. But the way that he just, especially in football, where he would just, the speed and then the power, that was just nobody else. Like, he was in the conversation with the Barry Sanders, and the Emmitt Smiths and Thurman Thomas. All of that going on at the same time. And it was just like his volume was like way less, and he was like never in training camp. You know what I'm saying? So it was almost like his football side had more mythology in professional side, because it was just like you didn't spend as much time on it. You know what I mean? And you weren't full off season dedicated to getting better for football. So it was just like, look how much raw talent. So, and I think that's the gift and the curse of the Renaissance man and the jack of all trades, because, you don't get appreciated for how good you are in one thing because you can do so much. Then it's just like, well, he could be so much better if you just did one thing, and you always get to do that. And then, but like with the Penny analogy, I don't know. I think that he had a little more time to prove himself out, because Penny is not a full comp, because Penny didn't come with the myth. I mean, Bo won the Heisman Trophy. You know what I'm saying? And you saw him coming. As far as his recruitment and how he got to Auburn, and then really like
then the myth with Tampa Bay and them drafting him saying I'm not going, and them him pulling a kind of, that was kind of wild. People don't remember that, but remember he was the first pick of Bucks, and he said I'm not going there.
Yeah, I mean it's just something that you were only going to appreciate it in retrospect, or if you're a purist and you were there and you saw him launch the hear some of those stories of his college coaches and everything, about what he could do, and like what a great baseball player he could have been more of, because I meant he was not an average baseball player. Like for those that don't know that, you know what I'm saying? Like he was an all-star, you know what I mean? So these just breaking down that door, it made it, I think if there's a parallel to someone like Penny, it was just more of the commercialism, and there was more of a template by that time. He was one of the originators to that. The value of how you were marketed. Because again, he was an individual athlete that played team sports. So that was right after Michael Jordan. They hadn't figured it all the way out yet. You know what I mean? So, but that concept of how to market an individual inside of a team sport, I think there was a big launching pad moment with Bo Jackson, just because he represented multiple teams, multiple sports, and then you could like pick that up and be like, put a question mark on it. He could do this too, or he could do this too. Like, like I was saying with the surfing, like the ads, you literally saw him walking by in all of those things. And just like the shoes represent, you're in the weight room, and then you hit the track, you come back, and you can hit the court, or you can hit the turf, all of the same shoe, and then that was done on purpose, and then it just became cultural. You're quoting the hip hop lyrics just because they're fashionable. They were comfortable. The shoes were as versatile as the athlete himself. So
here's a lesson on fact, Tony, just to let everyone know, since we're talking about cultural. Keep in mind that the character for Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig was loosely based off of Bo Jackson. So a lot of his vignettes and so forth, with the smacking of the gum and him doing the golf and the basketball and the bowling, and that was loosely off of the advertisement and marketing and the genius of Nike with Bo Jackson. So we think of Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, God bless his soul as well. Bo had a lot to do with that character as well with the WWE, which ended up being legendary and being in the Hall of Fame as well.
Yeah, just having that, that versatility. Like I am Mr. Perfect. Now I'm not just good at a bunch of stuff. I'm the best at everything. So, and then, like I said, the culture, and then you pick up on these things, and then they become staples to your outfits, like that orange and blue, with the Auburn inspiration, but no one's even thinking about that at that time, because those orange, orange Bo Jacksons, New York Knicks in it. You know what I'm saying? Do-rag, Nautica sweats, Slaughter set, like all of that, I really did have Nautica sweats with, with some Bo Jacksons, and not everyone had the bows in the trainer SCs like that. But I remember our crew, we had the colors, we had the flavors. I rocked Bo Jacksons more than I rocked Air Force Ones, especially during the late 90s. I was heavy in rotation with, give me even some all white bows was crispy clean, and
so give us your top Bo Jackson, and I'm gonna put you on the spot. Your top one, if you have to just pick one, if you have to be on an island and have one Bo Jackson shoe and colorway, which one would it be? For me, I think it would be the Madison balls. They're training through.
Medicine ball. Yeah, see, I'm just gonna go with the SC trainer first of all for that model of choice, just for my style of foot. None of the straps ever really worked for me, so I got to go with the strapless. And it was, I could easily just say the OG orange and blue, but I'd have to say my favorite. It probably because of I had the. It was like the red, white, and blue colorway. So it was like a USA model, and it was more white and navy with an accent of red. But
it was the SEs.
Yes, the SEs.
Oh man, that was 99, 2000. Yeah. I mean, I was working at Foot Locker when we blew through those like it were Jordan release. Like those sold out in 2 days.
Like those, like I picked that shoe because I wore those out. And everything that was going on at that time with the music and pop culture, that was part of the uniform at that time, so I did have the orange, so matter of fact, I'll give you 3 that was in rotation probably through that year, or that summer, that was heavy rotation.
Think about the albums came out during that time, Tony. Hip hop was on a whole nother level. Oh my gosh.
That's what I mean. This is peak, DMX, all of this, yes. So from 90, 97 to 99,
Mm-hmm.
2000,
Mm-hmm.
my favorites were again that red and white blue colorway, that navy,
With the gray.
with a little bit of the gray. And then there was a white, and it was a white off white.
Yep.
Okay. The white
Mm-hmm.
off white. I used to rock that. That was the most universal. So I rock those like white Air Forces. Okay. So that's why those got in heavy rotation. And then I had a black and white. There was a black and white pair, right? Where they were predominantly black with the white, not the Raiders with the gray, but it was the black leather ones,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the whole upper was leather. You know what I'm saying? And those, that was you had to have the all whites, then you had the black, and then there you go with the switch up with the navy, and then matter of fact, I'm gonna throw one more in there, the royal blue, because you had the royal blue with the gray, and then you had the red with the gray. I had both of those too, but that royal blue,
And those were built just
ooh-wee.
like the original. So you still had what we used to call the plastic on the sides, but the carbon fiber on the sides, and they were built to last. So I hopefully one day Nike will make them the way they're supposed to be made. But yeah, that 98, 99 era when they came out with all the colorways. I remember I had a college roommate that literally had every color. So he had the white and burgundies and the royals, and like, because they all had that OG lemon, the lemons that came out, they all had
Yeah.
that OG type of pattern. But then when they flipped it with those USAs, we call them one you're talking about, and then the white off white, then it came out with the all white. But had a little bit of orange, but the orange was only in the lines of the carbon fiber, and
Mm-hmm.
then on the Nike only in the back. I was like, ooh, they all white, but they got a little bit of orange in them for the
Just a little bit.
summertime.
Come on,
So
man. Yeah, them lemons. Oh, you just reminded me about the lemon joint. Yeah, you know
mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Those lemons was crazy. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, that royal blue, that might shoot back up. That might skip over the even the OG orange, because again, that was like true blue before the true blue. That was like my true blue 3
Understood.
before that. You know what I mean? Because I know I got a lot of wear. But again, I was heavy rotation on Bo Jackson's. I probably, and that was like peak like Jewel Air Force One time. You know what I'm saying? So I was cool, and it was okay to rock the mids with the strap around then too. You know what I mean? It wasn't a thing that was mids weren't cool or whatever. But again, I was heavy more on, because more people did the Jewel Air Force Ones. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? I probably only had like 2 or 3 pair of those,
Mm-hmm.
but I was, 8 deep, minimum, with the Bo Jacksons, because like I said, I rocked them. I rocked those like I was rocking SC trainers. You know what I'm saying? Like even with the medicine balls, like you said, or the chlorophylls, or those. They just they didn't fit my foot the way that I needed to. That was comfortable for me.
What about the Air Trainer 91s? What about the gray and maize, the 91s?
Yeah, again, because that still has the semblance of a
Mm-hmm.
of a strap. I still have that model in like that tan, um, burnt burgundy
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
colorway. Just because they had like the Timberland laces on them. But again, those, it didn't flow the way for my foot, because as an athlete, especially at that time, that was a easy. The SCs were just easier to slip on, right? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, at one point in time, I might have like not laced them up all the way. You know what I mean? And you only skip the holes, and they only go through the wings. And you just let them hang. And because of the SC trainer, the way that tongue had that
Mm-hmm.
elastic that strapped it down so hard,
On both
like
sides.
it was that was an easy shoe to slip on and never have to lace anything up. You know what I mean? So it was a easy transition from after practice, locker room, to getting, switch up your gear and go out. You know what I'm saying? And that was always that extra pair was a book bag shoe, or or the gym shoe locker joint. You know what I mean? Because like you could beat the originals, you could beat. You can't beat the retros. I don't care which year you got them, because they became disposable, unfortunately, with the wear and tear. That was one of the last shoes that everybody was doubling up. You had doubles and triples of Bo Jacksons, because that's just what you did. But you couldn't after 2010 or something like that. You couldn't do none of that
at all.
because they were just disposable, one wear, and they'd crack up like I don't know what. So just miss those times, where those were meant to last. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it's, again, just shout out to Bo Jackson. Even to this day, you can grab a Bo Knows t-shirt, and it's just as relevant in 2022 as it was in 1991 when the campaign started. So talking about legendary indeed in the culture, as far as with sneakers, as far as in hip hop, as far as with wrestlers we talked about, and overall. So again, just going down memory lane, just talking about some of the things, but the moments with Bo. And again, he's had multiple documentaries. ESPN did one a few years ago, that if you weren't there, the people who tell the stories and how they have been told and how they have been documented have been excellent as well. So it's good to see a person get their flowers while they're still here. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'm very grateful about that. We just wanted to shout out one of the greatest athletes of all time, Bo Jackson, 60th birthday. Shark, you got any final thoughts or any final words before we head on out of here?
No, just invest in the knowledge, watch some YouTube videos. It's wow. This guy was something special. I'm just blessed to, be able to witness some of that. And, we'll sign off just like he, like that Monday Night Football game where he just ran out. He just kept running out the tunnel, like it's Forrest Gump or something.
Couldn't slow down.
He literally couldn't slow down, so those are just iconic moments that just, like, did he invent the walk-off? You know what I'm saying? Like those little things just, will always stick out in my head. And or him bowling over Boz or whatever his name was that everyone wanted to hype up, and he just ran him over and went to the end zone. But that whole, like, that's how I want to end that, just that walk off, drop the mic, Bo Jackson, the name speaks for itself. Bo knows. Okay. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. So that's why we're the podcast we cheer for, give you that clarity over popularity, sparking that nostalgia. That's why we're the podcast you cheer for. So for Soul Material Crew, we can wrap it up. Another one in the books. So it's T Mark the Street Shark signing off.
And OGO. Until next time, Bo knows. Bo will always know. And this the Shark say, if you don't know, go to YouTube and check it out. And what you seeing, best believe, because it did happen.
Yes, indeed. All right. Till next time.
Peace to you.